Okay, so equations with brackets then. So we're basically doing what we've done before, except we're adding just an extra level of trickiness that you sometimes get. Well, what I need to remind us of first of all is what we mean by brackets in some algebra in the first place. So let's just write an expression here with some brackets in, just a very straightforward one. And I've got 4 brackets x plus 3. Now this set of brackets, I like to think of them as like little shopping baskets of stuff, you know, and I've gone to the shops and I've bought an X and I've bought a 3 and that's in my basket. And the 4 at the front means 4 times that. It actually means 4 lots of my basket, so 4 lots of everything in it. So I'm going to have 4 lots of X, 4 times X. And remember in algebra we write that as 4x, and it means 4 times X. And I've got 4 lots of 3's as well. So 4 times 3 is 12. And they're both positive numbers there. This 4 is positive, the 3 is positive. So the answer is also positive. 4x plus 12. And that is equivalent to this. It's actually the same thing, just written in a different way. So when we've got these brackets, we can expand them by multiplying everything in the bracket by the thing at the front. Okay, and that's going to be important. Let's just remove that for now. Try a question. So I've got 3 brackets, x plus 2 equals 15. Now there are a few ways you could deal with this, at least a couple of ways, but I think particularly when it's the early days of you learning how to work with equations, the best way is actually to expand this bracket because the bracket will disappear then and you can use your usual techniques for solving after that. Remember, solving means to find the value of the letter, find the mystery number as it were. So first of all, we've got a bracket like this. We're going to expand it out. So I'm going to times everything in the bracket by the thing at the front. So 3 times the x is 3x, and 3 times the 2 is 6. And they're both positive, so the answer is positive. And that still equals 15, just like it did before. And then we've got a 2-step equation here, the likes of which we've seen lots of before. I don't know if you can hear that, but the RAF seem to have sent a helicopter in. They're obviously interested in brackets. If you can't hear that, that was a really weird aside. Anyway, 3x plus 6 equals 15. Right, now we know we're going to deal with the number touching the letter last, so we deal with the other bit first. And we're trying to get x on its own so we can find its value. And I'm going to deal with plus 6 by doing minus 6. So they cancel out because 6 minus 6 is nothing. And that just leaves the 3x on its own. But remember, what you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So if I've taken 6 away from this side of the equation, I must take 6 away from this side as well to keep it balanced. So I've now got 9 over this side. 3x equals 9. But I don't want 3x's. I don't care what 3x's is. I just want to find 1x. We know how to deal with the number touching the letter. You divide by whatever is touching the letter, because 3x, if I divide that by 3, I just get one of them, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we'll divide that by 3 as well. 9 divided by 3 is also 3. So x must have the value of 3. And let's go check this out. I won't do this every time, but sometimes it's a good little check. X plus 2. Now in the brackets, remember Bib Maths or Bob Maths, you must do the brackets first. So we would do, in this case, if x is 3, 3 plus 2, which is 5. Then we can times it by the 3 on the outside to make 15. So it does work. The left-hand side's got the value of 15. The right-hand side's got the value of 15. They are indeed equal. All right. So again, we've got some brackets. Let's expand the bracket first, and then we can solve. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2 times the x, we just write as 2x, because it means 2 times x. They're both positive, so happy days, it's still positive. And we know from the original equation it's equal to 14. So then I just solve. Remember, deal with the number touching the letter last. So we'll get rid of this 4 first, and the way to get rid of a 4 is to take away the 4. Literally go 4, take away 4 is nothing, which leaves 2x sat on its own. But what we do to one side of the equal sign, we must do to the other side as well. Very important. 14 take away 4 is 10. So 2 times my mystery number is 10. I think we can guess what the mystery number must be, but let's do it the official way. Let's show our working out. I don't want 2 of something, I just want 1, so I divide it by that number touching the letter. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it just leaves the 1x there. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Our mystery number is 5. Yay! So great, we found out what our mystery number is. And that's what solving means. It means find the mystery number. Next one. Okay, so it's on the other side of the equal sign, but that doesn't matter because the thing about equal signs is it just means that this side is equal to this side. That's all it means. Right, so we're going to do our same thing again. We're going to expand our bracket. So we'll times everything in the bracket by the 4. So 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 1. 4 lots of negative 1 is negative 4. Because a minus times a positive is a minus, or negative rather. And 44 over here. Okay, so now we've got a two-step equation. Let's solve it. The number touching the letter we deal with last. So we'll deal with the minus 4 first. And the opposite of take away 4 is to add 4. Because that 4, take away 4 is nothing. Cancels out. It just leaves the 4x on its own. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 44 plus 4 is 48. So 48 equals 4x. 4 times my mystery number. I don't want 4 lots of my mystery number. I only want the 1. So I don't want 4. I'm going to divide it into 4 equal pieces. I'm going to find out what just one of those x's must be worth. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I shall divide my 48 by 4 as well, which is 12. Now I know this is 12 equals x, but that is the same as x equals 12. It just means these two things are equal. X is equal to 12. It doesn't matter which way round it is, as long as x is on its own. Okay. And last little demo one is this one. Oh, it's going to be tricky, isn't it? I'll put my arrows underneath, I think, this time. So again, we've got a bracket in the equation, so let's remove that bracket by expanding it, by multiplying out first. So 5 times x is 5x, and the 5 times the 1 is 5, and they're both positive, so we'll put a positive, and that equals 45, okay? And then we can solve. Remember, deal with the number touching the letter last. We'll deal with this positive 5 first, and we'll deal with that by taking away 5, because 5 take away 5 is nothing. So 5x is left on its own, and that still equals 45. No, it doesn't. Because look, remember, we need to take a 5 away from this side as well. Because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 45 take away 5 is 40. Yeah, see, nearly caught you out there. Right, we don't want 5 lots of x. We just want the 1 lot of x, 1 on its own. So I'm going to cut that 5x into 5 equal pieces just to find what 1x is. Divide it by the 5. Divide by the number touching the letter. And I'm going to divide this side by 5 as well. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So my mystery number was 8. That makes sense. Let's go back to the equation. X plus 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Just do the brackets first. And then 5 times that 9 equals 45. It works. Okay? Right, what I want you to do now is press pause in a second. Get a pen, piece of paper, a crayon, or, you know, maybe chisel it into a rock if you're an ancient caveman. And I want you to answer these questions, please. Once you've answered them, you can unpause the video and check if it matches my answers. Okay, so pause now. We have unpaused. I hope you didn't cheat and just watch it straight through. I hope you've done these questions. Of course you wouldn't cheat. Why would you cheat? You're just cheating yourself. All right, they've got brackets. Let's expand the brackets. 11y, or 11 times y rather, is 11y. Why did I put y's in these ones? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because we can use any old letter we like because it's just a mystery number. 11 times the 2 is 22. So 22. And they're both positive, so that's positive. And that still equals 55. Okay, I'm going to go through this a bit quicker now, I think, because we're getting used to the idea, aren't we? Right, plus 22. To get rid of that, I'll take away 22, because it turns into nothing, leaving 11y on its own. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 55 take away 22 is 33. But I don't want 11 y's, I just want the one of them. I'm not greedy. So divide by the number touching the letter, so divide by that 11. 33 divided by 11 is 3, because whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. Y is 3. Well done if you got that. Okay, another equation with a bracket in it. So let's multiply it out. 7 times y is 7y. Why? Because I told you so. Right, 7 times by the 3 is 21. Resisting the urge to go 21. Then put the plus in there. And of course that equals 105. And then deal with the equation. We'll deal with the number touching the letter last. So I'm going to take away 21 first. And 21 take away 21 leaves nothing. So 7y is all on its own. But we must take 21 away from the other side of the equation as well, which is 84. So 7y is at 84, but I don't want 7 of them. I only want 1. Yeah, that's right. So divide by the number touching the letter, which is 7. 7y divided by 7 is just y. 84 divided by 7 is 12, because 12 sevens are 84. So my mystery number was 12. Okay, over to these two then. Hope you're still doing okay. 7 times the x is 7x, and 7 times negative 4 is negative 28, because we've got a negative times a positive, which leaves a negative answer. And then that equals 35. Okay, get rid of the minus 28 by adding 28, because it turns it into 0. So 7x is on its own, but what you do to one side, you must do to the other. And that is going to be 63, because 35 plus 28 is 63. And then last step, I don't want 7x's, I just want 1, so divide by that number touching the letter, which leaves you with 63 divided by 7, which is 9, because 9 sevens are 63. My mystery number was 9. And last one. Okay, let's put 125 this side of the equation with the equal sign. They've put it the other way around, but we know that doesn't matter. Let's expand the bracket first. So 5 12s are 60. And 5 times negative x is, well, we've got a negative times a positive, so the answer is negative. And 5 times x is 5x. Oh, we've got a negative x here. That's fun. Right, okay, so we're going to deal with that number touching x last. Whether it's positive or negative, doesn't matter. We deal with it last. So 60, we're going to deal with the 60 first. We're going to take away the 60. 60 take away 60 is nothing. Bet you didn't know that. Then negative 5x equals, remember, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we've got to take 60 away from this side as well, which will leave 65. 125, take away 60, 65. So minus 5x equals 65. Right, okay, tricky step, because I don't want my negative 5x, I just want an x on its own. So I divide, what do I divide by? I divide by the number touching x, and that number is not 5, it is negative 5. All right, now if I divide negative 5 by negative 5, I get positive 1, which is why this is just 1x. Yeah? Divide by that number. But remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I need to divide by negative 5. Okay, well, the first thing to do is just do the numbers first, right? So 65 divided by 5 is 13. And then this is a positive number, isn't it? 65. This is a negative. And we've got a mix of signs. So positive divided by negative. We've got to use our rules, which means my answer is also negative. Mix of signs means that the answer is negative. So x is equal to negative 13. Yeah? Okay, good. Right, next, your next job then is to go to the link that was in the Show My Homework post. If you can't find that link, then you could always type this in and it should take you to the right place. But you should be able to just click on the link in your homework. And that will take you to a worksheet that looks like something like this. And what I want you to do is, ideally on a piece of paper, is to write out the question. And then you can do the question, so I'd expect you to expand the bracket first. And then I'd expect you to, make sure you're showing you're working out, because it's really important. Because if you get stuck, you can always email me with a little photo, and I can say where you've gone wrong. And if we don't want 4R there, so I'm going to divide by that 4. divide by the 4 on that side as well. So we get R is a value of 1. Yeah. So I want you to then, you would put the answer of 1 in there. And you do it to all the questions. And at the end, you press check answers. And it gives you a score out of 10. If you've mucked it up and you want to start again, or if you've not done very well and you need more practice, click on New Worksheet. It will give you a whole new set of questions because your questions will already look different to mine. I wouldn't click Show My Answers unless you're really desperate, because it shows you all the answers, but then you can't do the questions, so you can't cheat. So you would need to press New Worksheet to get a new worksheet. So enjoy, have fun with the brackets, and good luck.